Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cafe of Knowledge. So glad that y'all all are tuning in today. Today we are on chapter 18, and it is the annual report. Okay, so that annual report, it's you can tell by the title of it. It's what people or companies, business owners, it's what you're supposed to file each year. Okay, each year you're supposed to get your annual report together and send it in, and that's when your annual report, you ready for your taxes, or file for your taxes and everything like that. Okay, so let's get right on into it. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. But let's get to it. So your annual report, it's really your financial statement, really. You have your financial report, and you have your income statement, your income statement report, and then you have your double entry counter report. We talked about all that last week, and how you have an auditor come in, and the auditor looks at it. And then the auditor say whatever they're going to say about the business on their auditor's report. They sign off, stamp it, whatever, and then that's it. And your next step would be just gathering all that together for your annual report. And you would have that in your company. You'll keep a copy of your annual report inside of your company, and then you also could use that for your filing your taxes for your business or your company's business as well. Okay, so now this annual report is basically a report that gives basically the meat of the company. It tells the meat, the main core of the company. Okay, you'll find everything out on this annual report. Okay, and that annual report, these are the things, basically the four key things you're supposed to have on this annual report. Okay, the auditor's report. When we talked about that last week, if you didn't hear about it, you need to go back to last week's video. But the auditor report, that auditor report needs to be, it's part of the annual report. Okay, so you'll take that sheet, and then you'll take your income statement, which is your balance sheets, your income statement, and all that, and your statement of cash flow. We talked about all that. All those reports we talked about, you will put that in a pile. And you will have your auditor report on that pile as well. And then the next thing you need to have on that pile of annual reports is a note to the financial statement. It's called Note to the Financial Statement. And that's additional need to know information that is on the financial statement. This information could be great news for the company's financial position or critical news. So you will have another sheet of paper. If your company did good, you would have, our company made 10% more profit this year. We made a profit of 10% more this year. Or we declined in profit 10% this year. Okay, that should go in there. Okay, and if so, what did you do to make your company grow? What do you think the reason why y'all had a 10% increase in profit? And also, why do you think y'all had a decrease of 10% in profit that year? Okay, so you have to put all that down there. Then the next thing that goes on the pile it's called management's discussion and analyze. Okay, so it's management discussion and really an analyst. Okay, and that's really an abbreviation called MD. MD&A. MD&A means managements, discussion, and analysts. Okay? And what that is the management team and the CEO of the company. If you own the business, it would be you and say the managers in your company, or either you. If you don't have anybody and it's just you, maybe you have something going on in your own business where it's just you operating the business and nobody else. Well, then you need to do the management discussion and analyst paperwork. Okay, so what that does is it gives the management a perspective regarding the company's bottom line. Okay, this is what this report does. It gives a perspective regarding the bottom line of that company. Okay, rather the bottom line is your profits. Okay, and did it decrease? And if so, like we just said a few minutes ago, why did it increase? What did your company do better to make your profits increase? What did you do to make your company's profit decrease? Like, why is it decreased? It's either or. It's going to go either two ways, y'all. Either for that year your company made profit, or your company didn't make any profit. Either way it go, you have to explain why it made profit. What do you think y'all did good to increase profit? Or what do you think went wrong is why you lost profit? Okay? So that's what would be on that MD&A report, which is management discussion and analysis. Okay? And it gives the management statement of good information, real juicy information about the company's positive and negative situations and problems that impacted the company's financial position. So say if you lost profit this year, but a lot of it was due to a national disaster. Say if it was a hurricane or a bad tornado, something like that, and your business had to close for like 2 or 3 months. And that's probably why your profits are not as big as last year, because that impacted you tremendously. You would have to put that down. If you lost profits, and that's the reason why you lost profit, because you wasn't able to make any money for like 2 months because your business was closed down until it got remodeled, had to go back through inspection and all that good stuff, and you had to wait on people to okay the business back to operation, and it took about 2 months to do that, and you lost 2 months of sales. And you think that is the real reason why your profits was low this year than it was last year. Well, you need to put that down there up under that MD&A report. Okay, you need to put that on a piece of paper as well. Okay, and because that's all it wants to know is if your company, that's all that management discussion and analysis is did your company make profit? If so, why do you think it did? If not, why do you think it didn't? That's all that is, okay? And then this report also tells how smoothly the company was running all year long or what went wrong. I just said that. This report will give an idea of how well the company will perform and operate in the future as well. And so if everything looks good, you know, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, that you would know if your business is able to function another year just by looking at how much money you have inside of that bank account, inside that company's bank account, okay? So if it took you $5,000 to run your company all this year, it should be $5,000 you hoping $5,000. You made $5,000 is in that bank account, okay? Because you know that for that whole year, it took you $5,000 to operate your business. And if you got $5,000 in the bank, then you know you good to run your business one more year at least. If you got $10,000 in that bank, you know you good to run your business for 2 years at least. Okay? If you got $15,000 in the bank account, you know you good to run your business for 3 years at least. Okay? So that's when you would put that down on that sheet as well. So if it took you $5,000 to run your business, and then you look at what your business have in profits and in the bank account at that time, and it say $5,000, then you can put company did good for this year and is able to run for this upcoming year without any discrepancies or without having to close down. It is able to run one more year. And if you look at your bank account and it got $10,000 in there, you could put that on that report. The company made $5,000. It took the company $5,000 to run this year, and we have now $10,000 in the bank. So the company is good to run for at least another 2 years. Company is in a good financial state at this time. That's the type of things that you put down on that MD&A report, which is, what did we say it was? Management, discussion, and analyst report. Okay? Then the next sheet of paper that's going to go on top of that is going to be called a letter to the shareholders. Okay? And that's only if your company is involved in shareholding, and it's involved in bonds and stocks and stuff like that. If your company have that going on inside of it, then you need to write. It needs to be a letter that said the name of the letter is a letter to the shareholders. Okay, and that's when the owner of the company and the chair board, like if you have a chair, if you working with a big company, you got the CEO and the chair boards and all that. It's a letter from all of them that will be at the front of their annual report. That's going to be at the top of the annual report. Because why? Because you want your shareholders and everybody to know that your company did good, and their investment or their shares are looking good, gonna be good, company have no problems, because shareholders want to know if that company is falling, is it not making that much money, is it about to go into bankruptcy. Shareholders and investors and stuff wants to know that, because their money is inside. They got their money and their little shares invested inside of that company. So they want to know at the end of the year where this company stands. And that's when that company, or if you're a business owner and you do deal with the shares and the stocks and the investors and stuff, you have to have that letter on top of all these other papers I just named. Is called a letter to the shareholders. And on that letter, you will highlight the company's growing, increasing profits. On that letter, you want to write to them, the company is doing good in profits, and the company did very well this year. The company had a profit of such and such, such and such. The company is looking like it's in good shape right now, and we did very well this year. Actually, we did better this year than last year. We had a profit increase of $1,000 this year, more than we did last year. So you have to put stuff like that on that letter to the shareholders, because the shareholders wants to know how good your company is doing. okay? Because they don't want to still be inside of sharing or investing, and the company is not doing too well, and they need to know this so they'll know they're on the verge of either gaining money or losing money with your company, okay? The negative results will most likely be hidden somewhere in the middle of that report. So it's like if the shareholders were on that shareholders letter, it's some companies that they're going to tell all the good stuff that happened in that year to the shareholders. But if it's any negativity that happened, usually they're going to put that in the middle of that letter, and they're not going to make it sound too bad. They're going to use keywords like challenging. Like we lost profit this year. It was a challenging year with a negative 2% profit. We lost 2% profit. It was a challenging year. They will put things like that. When you see the word challenging, or we are restructuring our business, and we are restructuring our management team, and we are going to restructure our employees. We're going to hire more employees, and it's going to be a challenging task. When you hear stuff like that, those type of words, it most likely means something ain't right, or that company is struggling with something. They're struggling with something, they're having a problem with something, and that's their way of saying it by using little key words like challenging and restructuring, or corrective action plan, correction action or being taken. Our management team was dropping the ball this year, but all of them got a corrective action plan to make sure this is corrected. A corrective action plan is a write-up. That's the cute way of saying, I'm writing you up. I'm writing you up. Instead, businesses usually don't say, hey, come in the office, you're getting a write-up. Or on the top of your write-up, it has write-up. No, they use a word that has corrective action plan. So people say, you've been late 8 times, so I'm going to have to give you a corrective action plan. Meaning that it's supposed to correct what's wrong, and it's a plan in there on how you can fix why you just got rolled up. Okay? So that's the proper way of saying writing someone up. So when you see words like this inside of that shareholders thing, we had, we didn't do too good, but all our management team, the whole management team did get a corrective action plan, and we all know the game plan to make sure that our business will make more money next year than this year. Things like that, okay? And when you hear the word difficulties, this year had a lot of difficulties in it. We didn't make money like we thought we was going to make money, but we are coming up the ladder and things like that. See, when a business is not doing too good, and inside these type of letters that they have to write to either the shareholders or letters that they have to write just for their business to make sure that they make more profit next year and not lose any profit like they did this year. This is if a company lost profits this year, they have to say how much profit they lost by. They have to say what did they do to correct it? What are they doing to correct it? What systems do they have in place to make sure it's corrected? How long do you think it'll be before this problem is corrected? Okay? And how long do you think it'll be before we won't have to worry about this particular problem you are talking about. So that's what shareholders and CEOs want to know. And the person who owns the business or the person who is conducting the business for the owner, they have to be able to write all this stuff in and say about the profits, if they made an increase in profits or decrease in profits, okay? And they have to be able to explain that. And they have to be able to say, the CEO, like we say, the owner or whoever, they have to be able to say how they are going to make it better. It don't matter even if you made profit. You got to put something on there that says a goal that you're going to make more profit than you did in this one. Even if you made a good profit this year, you have to write something that's going to say you're going to make more profit this next year and what you think you need to do to make sure that happens. Okay? And if you lost profit, you got to say what you need to do to make sure you don't lose any more profit for that following year. Okay? So that's basically what that report is. Okay? So that's it for an annual report. So like I said, the annual report, it has that auditor's report is on there, and then all your financial statement reports on there, your income statement, your balance sheet, your financial statement, all that stuff need to be on that stack as well. And then you'll have that management discussion and analyst. That report needs to be on top of that also. Okay? Then you'll have that letter to shareholders. That needs to be on the top of your annual report. Okay? And that makes up your annual report. And you are through with all the paperwork for that year. And next year, you start from the beginning, okay? And you just keep going. But this is what you have to do. This is what you need to do. If you don't have this system in place as a business owner, you need to get this system in place. Most corporate businesses already have this in place, and this is what they do. So if you apply for a job and you want to work in the corporate office or you want to work in the financial department, you already know how to do and have all these reports together. You know how to do all these reports. You know what goes on each and every one of these reports, okay? You know how to create each and every one of these reports. And you know how to do that because you have been following me from chapter 1 all the way to chapter 17. So we already know that you know how to do it. And for those who don't know how to do it, just refer back to all my other videos and work your way all the way up from chapter 1 all the way up to now. Here we are in chapter 18. And once you have went through chapter 1 to 18, you will also know how to do all of these reports and how all these reports are done, how to fill them out, and how they are created, and what you need to do to make sure that all these reports are correct, okay? So that's all you need for an annual report. And once you have all those things in the annual report, like I say, you make copies for your business and to keep. And then you make another copy because then that is the one that you most likely, that is the one that you're going to have to take to your tax preparer. So they will all see all that. And then you will also send a lot of that information to your shareholders, to your investors. Whoever have invested inside that company, they need to see all those reports as well. And they will look over the report. So you need about 2 or 3 copies of this annual report. And that way you keep one. You have to send one to the tax people for your tax preparer so the IRS can look at it and do everything they need to do with it. And then you need your shareholders, your investors, people like that, they need it. Okay, so they'll know what they invested in and how well your business is doing that they are invested in or they have shares in. Okay, so that's all for your annual report. Okay, And so, like we said, next week, we're almost through. Y'all go to chapter 20. This is chapter 18. So you have 2 more chapters before you are officially completed this whole course of inventory, finance, budgeting, all that good stuff. Okay. You now are prepared to go out in the work field and find you a good job, a good money-making job, hourly, salary, or whatever, but you do have the knowledge to increase and improve your career. Okay? So that's all we want. Like we said, that's what this show is all about. So next week, we will go into chapter 19. And chapter 19, I think we'll be talking more about, I'm not for sure. I think it's the interview process. It might be the interview process or something like that. But anyway, I see y'all next week for chapter 19. Whatever it is, it's good, quick, and everything like that. But hey, great job for everybody that has done 1 through 18. Have a successful career. I know you will. And I'll see you all next week, okay? So that's all I have to say about that. Gain knowledge to prevent blockage. And we all know what that means. The more you know, the harder it is for anybody to block y'all from y'all goals and success. Bye-bye.